Back in November, and many could argue that they have the easier running of all of their rivals, as the red and white scarves are held aloft and the city ground embraces Mull of Kintyre. The last time they were in Europe's elite competition was 45 years ago. There are many Nottingham Forest fans who will be daring to dream that that will be the backdrop to welcoming some of Europe's top clubs here next season. But they've got work to do, and we're underway. Nottingham Forest in their red shirts and white shorts, playing in the first half from left to right against an Everton side in all royal blue. Sells is in goal for the home team, Williams at right back, Murillo, Milinkovic and Moreno at left back, Dominguez, Anderson and Gibbs-White, Silva, Chris Wood and Callum Hudson-Odoi. So three changes that Nuno Espirito Santo has made, as Jota Silva will pursue that ball, but Pickford, all in green, comes out and clears it long. Everton likewise have made three changes. Pickford is in goal, O'Brien at right back, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, Mikolenko is one of them at left back. You've got Gay, Decore, Garner coming into the side as well. He had a couple of loan spells early in his career actually here at the City Ground. Harrison and Broja makes a rare start instead of Beto. So Amanda Broja, whose last start was actually on the 4th of January against Bournemouth, and it's only his third start for Everton, who are the draw specialists of the Premier League, Leon Osman.
Yes, they are. They've had a real resurgence in form and points since David Moyes took over, but has continued since Sean Dyche moved on and David Moyes come in. As you said, is the amount of draws that this team have. They've only lost 2 more games than Nottingham Forest this season. And obviously Nottingham Forest have known how to win football matches. I'll be interested to see whose style takes charge of this game. Both like to play without the ball primarily. See how we go. The ball didn't touch the floor for the first minute as it went backwards and forwards, but just settling down now.
Hudson-Odoi will run forward over on that far side, the left. He makes good ground as well. O'Brien tries to hold him off as he backpedals. His ball in field intercepted by Garner. Goes into the challenge with Anderson. The ball will run loose. Now it's with Gay out towards Harrison on the right-hand side for Everton. Harrison waits as Moreno, who's actually making his first Premier League start since the 4th of December. He's made 3 starts in the calendar year of 2025 in the FA Cup, but his last start actually in the league was the 4th of December against Manchester City, as that switch to the back three didn't quite pay off at Villa Park last week.
No, it didn't, and he's been patient, hasn't he, waiting for his opportunity. Sometimes when you're a footballer and you feel like you should be playing, you want to, but the team are picking up wonderful results and doing well. You can't really argue. What you can do is take your opportunity when it presents yourself, however that is, and this is an opportunity for him today.
Broja away on the right-hand side, checks back, passes the ball back. Mark said we'll keep you in touch with all the permutations. We know that Birmingham City have been crowned champions of League One with Wrexham's draw at Wigan, as the ball is played in low towards Decore and it's cleared away by Moreno, but only as far as O'Brien. This is Gay. His first touch is to Decore. The referee, who is Craig Pawson here today, as another cross comes in from the right, says there was no free kick. Williams is tucked in to head it away. Gay down into the ground, comes back towards Gay. A little bit scrappy at the moment, but Everton still have the ball. But at the bottom of League Two, the bottom 4 are all playing each other. So Morecambe next to bottom against the bottom side Carlisle, and then the 2 teams above them, Accrington and Tranmere, are meeting, and Accrington have taken the lead. Accrington Stanley 1, Tranmere Rovers 0. Tennis update now with Russell Fuller.
Billie Jean King Cup, Great Britain against the Netherlands. Winners will qualify for September's finals. And in the first match of the day, Eva Vedder of the Netherlands has won the second set 6-4 to level the match with Britain's Sonny Cartal.
Thank you, Russell. One of those days where there is just so much live sport that we're keeping across here on BBC Radio 5 Live and also the BBC Sounds app, as Branthwaite spreads a diagonal ball out towards Harrison. He forces Moreno to go back with him, and then he stops, passes the ball in field. Gay chips it in. Here is Broja. Flag has stayed down. Broja back towards Gay. Actually struck his own player in Broja, as we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. Wherever you are in the world, it is a pleasure as always to have your company this Saturday afternoon, and we are at the City Ground for Nottingham Forest, who are third in the table against Everton. Lincoln City lead Shrewsbury by a goal to nil. Shrewsbury could be relegated in League One. Port Vale 1, Bromley 0 is a latest score in League Two. Port Vale could be going top. And in fact, news of that goal from Tom Gale.
Port Vale 1, Bromley 0. The first attack for the hosts. It falls to Jack Shorrock. Their first attempt on goal. Keeper no chance. Port Vale 1, Bromley 0.
So Shrewsbury will be relegated, and Celtic could be crowned champions of Scotland again if Rangers lose at Aberdeen tomorrow after their handsome 5-1 victory over Kilmarnock at Celtic Park. 5 minutes in here on BBC Radio 5 Live. It is 0-0, as that was a crude challenge by Harrison. And I wonder if Craig Pawson, who the last time he actually took charge of a game, he showed 10 yellow cards for Chelsea against Tottenham, whether he's going to reach for his notebook here. In the meantime, there's a penalty at Fratton Park in the Championship. Paul Scott.
6 minutes on the clock. The ball is on the spot. It's a penalty to Portsmouth. Matt Ritchie brought down by the onrushing goalkeeper Jacob Zetterstrom. Colby Bishop has the ball on the spot. He steps up right-footed. It's saved by the goalkeeper, diving to his left-hand side. It's Portsmouth 0, Derby 0.
Derby County, who are just outside the relegation zone, so that was a significant piece of action. No yellow card shown by Craig Pawson. News of that Lincoln goal, Sam Ashwood.
Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 0. Bad news for Shrewsbury, who need a result today, and it's a brilliant solo goal from Tom Bayliss, who picked the ball up from deep. He skipped past a couple of defenders, slotted it brilliantly into the bottom corner, and as things stand, Shrewsbury are going down to League 2. Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 0.
I mean, even if Shrewsbury were to win that game at Lincoln and Bristol Rovers were to beat Exeter at home, then Shrewsbury would still be relegated. So it's only a matter of time. But with that scoreline, it will certainly happen. 6.5 minutes in. Bright conditions, perfect cricketing weather, and indeed over the road, Nottinghamshire are actually playing Essex in the county championship on in day 2. I was tempted to have a little pop in as I arrived this morning.
Well, I had a walk along the river on the way up here. It's a wonderful setting for sport, where we are, all the stadiums, close proximity. Take your pick which one you choose to watch.
There's an evening meeting at Nottingham Racecourse later on as well. As Njai tried to thread it through towards Decore. Hit long by Gibbs-White. Jota will give chase. There's a little coming together between Jota and Branthwaite. The assistant referee on this near side says that the decision will go against Branthwaite, who's just feeling his right hamstring.
I don't know if he actually felt something, or maybe Jota Silva landed on him. It didn't seem to be the case. He didn't seem moving as smoothly as you would like when he was chasing after that ball. I must say, allowed Jota Silva to get really tight to him and eventually bring him down. So there will be slight concerns there for David Moyes, as he's just keeping a close eye on his left side at centre half.
That's Leon Osman. You never played here, did you, in your Everton career?
No, I don't think I did for all the time I played here. I played here twice, once for Derby County against Nottingham Forest, and one for England schoolboys under 15s against Scotland.
O'Brien linking up with Harrison, makes a strong run in towards the penalty area, gets a low ball in, blocked at the near post. Bet that was lively. Forest against Derby.
Yeah, not off. I managed to play in both in that 3-month spell I had at Derby. Played in both of those derbies, both Pride Park and here. Very lively occasions.
Burton Albion are leading Huddersfield by a goal to nil. Stockport County 0, Rotherham United 1 is the latest score in League One. Harrison, Everton seeing a lot of the ball in these opening 9 minutes or so here at the City Ground on 5 Live, the World Service and the BBC Sounds app. Mikolenko hits it first time in towards Decore. Had Milinkovic tight behind him. Williams, former Liverpool player, in towards Gibbs-White. He was fouled by Garner, who with a wag of the finger disagrees with that decision from Craig Pawson, and it is a free kick to the home side, 0-0.
Yeah, could have gone either way, that one. It was a nice attempt of a sharp turn, but Arnold was close. Did make a little bit of contact with Gibbs White as well as taking the ball. Would have been surprised it had gone either way, but as you just mentioned, Everton seeing quite a bit of the ball. Nottingham Forest been a bit sloppy in possession so far, haven't really been able to get anything going, and there again another pass given away by Nottingham Forest. I'd be surprised in the first 9.5 minutes if they've managed more than 3 or 4 passes in a goal so far.
Mentioned the cricket a short time ago. Of course, you can get the best possible coverage through your local radio when it comes to the county cricket scene through the BBC. This is 5 Live. We're focusing on the Premier League, and we're going to go to Brighton and Hove Albion. Henry Moran.
Chance for Brighton against Leicester. Yankuba Mensah at the back post, inexplicably using his left foot rather than right. Should score from a Dingra's cross. It remains Brighton 0, Leicester 0.
And we'll stay on the south coast. Chris Coles.
Villa 0, no surprise. Villa are playing the more eye-catching football. A couple of good Marcus Rashford runs. One shot well blocked, one header well saved. Southampton 0, Villa 0.
We'll be live at Villa Park on Tuesday night for yet more European action on BBC Radio 5 Live. Aston Villa against Paris Saint-Germain. We're in Madrid on Wednesday. Real Madrid against Arsenal, and on Thursday night at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Lyon in the Europa League quarter-finals. That's to look forward to during the week, but plenty of live sport between now and then, whether it be the football or the golf, as Harrison comes forward on the right, delivers across in towards the penalty area, and Jay is there falling backwards. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty. Craig Pawson is not having any of it as Nuno Espirito Santo walks away down his technical area. But Everton seeing so much more of the ball.
Yeah, and you know, even in that spell, playing out from the back, getting to the halfway line, feeling under pressure, going back to Jordan Pickford, dropping one in at the halfway line, beating that Nottingham Forest press before eventually getting that potential penalty shout as the ball came in. Good numbers in the penalty area, and yeah, I don't think it was enough to be a penalty kick, but as you said, it's Everton that are moving the ball and asking the questions and look quite bright at the start of this game. As yet, I know Nottingham Forest don't mind being out of possession, but they've been sloppy in the transition. They haven't managed to get 2 or 3 passes to get forward at any point so far.
That's the voice of Leon Osman, the former England international, who was with us here today at the City Ground. Meanwhile, a goal at the Hawthorns in the Championship. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to West Brom, scored by Carlin Grant. He had plenty of space, 15 yards out, right foot, took his time, beat the keeper low to the right. West Brom 1, Watford 0.
Started the day 5 points off the playoffs. They've lost their last 3, but they are leading Watford, who I guess still had faint hopes of maybe creeping into the top 6 in the Championship, where earlier today Leeds United beat Preston North End by 2-1. Plymouth Argyle, bottom of the table, beat third place Sheffield United 2-1 at home park. So it means after Burnley's win last night that both Leeds and Burnley are 5 points clear with 4 to play. Jota has gone down, there is a stoppage in play. Craig Pawson will just come across. Leon.
Yeah, again, a sloppy ball forward from Nottingham Forest. Nico Williams just trying to play one down the channel for Jota Silva. Mikolenko was in control of it. Jota Silva was just trying to run over to the ball, and Jared Branthwaite thought, well, I'm not going to let you get close to my left back, I'm just going to step across you and just stop your path, stop your run. And they kind of ran into each other. The referee, I'm not sure, seen it. It didn't seem like he saw it. I don't think there was a clash in the head or anything. It was just a bit of a body check from Branthwaite. I didn't even think it was enough to be a free kick, if I'm being completely honest, but obviously when a player goes down off the ball, the crowd are involved. There was certainly contact, unnecessary, yes, but not enough that I would have thought would be a free kick, although one of the referee is now actually, he's now putting a mark on the floor like he has given a free kick. Well, he must have waited 30 seconds before from the actual incident to actually making a decision, and I'm not convinced he saw it. I'm not, Ian.
No. I've got to say though, there didn't appear to be any attempt to play the ball. In fact, Branthwaite had more eyes on Jota Silva than the actual ball as well, but a free kick has been awarded. And Bristol Rovers 0, Exeter City 1 is the latest score in League One. So Bristol Rovers, who've lost their last 5, still could be sucked into to real trouble in the relegation zone in League One, have fallen behind. There has been a goal at the Abbey Stadium. We're going to go there in a moment, but let's see what happens with this free kick, because Chris Wood naturally would be somebody who Forest will look to try and target here. Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi, right hand side, just in from the touchline, a few yards in. It's touched then to Gibbs White. He plays it towards Murillo. plays it back out to the right touchline for Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs White runs ahead of him. Everton defending deep. Murillo goes square. This is Moreno on the far side. They work it now out towards that left for Anderson, back towards Moreno. Eventually the ball will come in, blocked by Decore, and Nottingham Forest win the ball back. So goal at Cambridge, Nathan Albon.
Quarter of an hour gone, Cambridge 0, Charlton 1. Tyrese Campbell back in the starting lineup today after injury, and he's made an impact, cut in from the left onto his right foot, drilled into the far corner. Cambridge 0, Charlton 1.
Port Vale have a second goal against Bromley. They're going to the top of League 2. Barnsley 1, Bolton Wanderers 0 is the latest score in League 1. An Everton player now has gone down. This is Broja. Tarkowski is quick to get into the ear of Craig Pawson, and all of a sudden there's just starting to see a little bit of niggle.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there was a block on Armando Broja by Murillo, and it's kind of similar. I'm not convinced that they're necessary for them to be free kicks, but what I will say is Craig Pawson was consistent about both of them. Both kind of similar, both blocks, and I wonder if Everton will mess around with this free kick in the way Forest did. Forest had a really good position to put a ball into Everton's penalty area, refused, didn't manage getting it in. Will Everton do the same, or will they try and actually make this free kick a dangerous one?
I'm now told that Port Vale goal has been disallowed, so Port Vale 1, Bromley 0 is the scoreline at Vale Park, as they look to take advantage of that helter-skelter game at the county ground. Swindon 5, Bradford City 4. Doncaster Rovers and Wimbledon both in playoff positions drew 1-1, and a yellow card now is being shown, the first of the afternoon, for yet another free kick. I mentioned he showed 10 yellows in his last game. This could be another awkward one for the referee. Decore's been booked.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the modern day football, if someone's skipping by you and you put your hands on them in any way, you're all running the risk of a yellow card. There wasn't an awful lot. I think Anderson actually was under a bit of pressure and wanted the free kick inside his own half. Everton had bodies around him, so clever free kick to win from Anderson. It's just to relieve a little bit of pressure for Forest.
Anthony Backhouse, the fourth official, has got David Moyes whinging and complaining in his right ear down below as we sit here in the main stand at the City ground, and it remains 0-0. Brighton 0, Leicester City 0. Southampton, of course, already relegated against Aston Villa, is goalless. Arsenal against Brentford. Commentary to come at 5:30 here on 5 Live, after Sports Report that will come live from Augusta with Mark Chapman. And incidentally, the US Masters Day 3, Justin Rose, the overnight leader at 8 under. Our coverage on Sports Extra will start slightly earlier at 7:30 tonight, and it'll be on 5 Live from 9 o'clock after 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Branthwaite at the back for Everton. Mikolenko is going to go on ahead of him on this near side, and Jai drops just short outside the centre circle. Mikolenko, the Ukrainian, passes the ball back to Branthwaite. Jota runs towards Branthwaite to Pickford, and Pickford will clear it long up towards Njai. He has Dominguez tight behind him. Here is Williams. Njai, though, manages to prod it away from Williams, who comes back at him and helps win the ball with the support of Dominguez, and it's tidied up rather nicely to Sells by Milinkovic.
Yeah, good battle so far between those two. For Williams and Njai, both quite clever players.
Ball goes back by Branthwaite at the other end to Pickford, and he passes the ball across to Tarkowski. So we will go to Millwall in the Championship. Hamish Marshall.
It's Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 0. Best chance came to the home side in the first minute. Free kick headed over by defender Tristan Kramer. Borough yet to get into their groove. Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Bristol City, of course, in the thick of it when it comes to the playoffs. They're at Queen's Park Rangers. Mark Scott.
And QPR should be ahead. Ian Dembele with a delicious ball with the outside of his boot across to Harrison Ashby. His first time effort lacked conviction though, and Max O'Leary made the save. QPR 0, Bristol City 0.
It remains 0-0 here. 18 minutes played. This is Everton's best ever run at the City ground of 4 games undefeated, considering that their first visit to the City ground was 1898 under Dick Molyneux. They'd lost previously 4 of their 7 visits to when Forest played at the Town ground, but looking to try and build on that upturn of form since David Moyes took charge, who's allayed any relegation fears as Harrison comes forward and shoots on the run. Although I've got to say, I never felt that Everton would get relegated under Sean Dyche, but certainly David Moyes has completely swept that away, hasn't he? Any fears?
Yeah, he has. I mean, as you say, you never felt Everton would go down this season. I think the bottom 3 have have found it very difficult in the Premier League, haven't they? But I just felt that Everton were drifting. I've got to be honest, there was the games were difficult to watch. There wasn't as much excitement around them as you'd like to see, as you'd hope to see, and I did think they needed fresh life into the club, and they've got that now under David Moyes.
Mentioned 1898, a few years earlier, Sam Weller-Wooderson invented the chimpans, did you know? He was with the cricket pads sawn down on the outside of his socks, or his stockings as of course they'd have been referred to then, and he later became Nottingham Forest chairman. That was Tony Livesey's floodlit fact of the day. You'll be able to hear Tony Livesey 10:30 Monday to Thursday every weekday night, as Nottingham Forest coming through here, and the socks, the red socks of Dominguez rolled down as the ball is played in by Williams and headed away by O'Brien, and then Dominguez fires it in, but the good block comes in from Gay in the Everton midfield. Cardiff-Stoke, big game down at the bottom of the Championship. Molly Stevens.
Huge and end-to-end here, Ian. Stokes, Lewis Baker had an early chance, but his shot sailed over. Powerful shots too from the home side. Robinson, O'Dowda, Robertson, all with effort. You can feel the pressure and intensity here. Cardiff 0, Stoke 0.
Cardiff are one of those teams in the relegation zone, as are Luton, Naz Premji.
0, Blackburn 0, Luton doing the dominating. Couple of chances for Milinachali, the first inside a minute, where he should have done better against Balazs Top. Luton 0, Blackburn 0.
Now a goal at Queen's Park Rangers, Mark.
And it's been coming, Ian, and it's Keita Dembele who's got it for QPR, rising at the far post to send a firm header beyond the dive of O'Leary. QPR 1, playoff chasing Bristol City 0.
It remains 0-0 here, still no goals at the Amex or St Mary's in the two other games in the top flight. Not sure we've had a proper chance yet, have we?
No, I was just thinking there's not a lot to really talk about. I think we've got two teams that are cancelling each other out, both competitive in the middle of the pitch. Two teams that their managers won't let them lose concentration. It's not like they're just drifting through games. They're really going to have to earn something if they're going to create opportunities. At the moment, though, I'd say Forest have been a little more sloppy than Everton in when opportunities have come.
Jota just catching Garner, and it'll be a free kick to Everton. I think, judging by David Moyes' reaction, I think he was quite keen to see Craig Pawson play the advantage there.
I mean, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Because this is an opportunity in a game where it seems it's difficult to create chances, to have a set piece, get players forward, pick out your long ball and get people around it, set up your play. But yeah, things may have just opened up, and again, you might want your team just to see how that chance opens up, because at the minute, I think we've got inside the penalty area for the last 5 or 10 minutes or so.
22 minutes played and nothing to write home about at the moment. Mikolenko near side the left, in towards Decore, he'll go square, and Jai tries to roll away from Dominguez and succeeds. Drops his shoulder, gets the shot away on the run, but it was low, it was left-footed, it lacked the power, and it was straight at Sells.
Well, he's the kind of player that this game needs, somebody just to grab the ball and do something with it, try and create opportunities, bring the game to life, and he did it brilliantly. Just held off the defender as he turned and spun, got inside Dominguez, the midfielder, but never really had the ball in a position to really trouble Sells in the goal. He was never going to be able to generate the power, but a bright moment for Everton.
Branthwaite able to run forward. Mikolenko has gone with him on this near side the left, midway through the Forest half. Back it goes to Branthwaite. Jota will run towards him, and then all the way back to Jordan Pickford in the Everton goal. 9 games without a clean sheet for the England international, as now Mikolenko goes on a run infield, being tracked by Williams all of the way, and then O'Brien, 2 fullbacks for Everton, actually exchange passes, and Mikolenko has stayed out on that right hand side, and his forward ball will be cut out by a sliding Murillo. We'll go to Brighton. Henry Moran.
Brighton 0, Leicester 0. Leicester without even a goal since January, but coming close. Steffi Mavididi cutting inside, curling over the crossbar. Their fans desperate to see their side find the back of the net any which way. Brighton 0, Leicester 0.
Barrow are leading Walsall by a goal to 0. Walsall, their form, their drop-off is like off the cliff face. They're without a win in 9. They were top, but they are losing at Barrow by a goal to 0. Port Vale, remember, lead Bromley by a goal to 0. Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1 is a latest score in League 1, and Accrington in that vital game down at the bottom have got a second goal. Accrington 2, Tranmere Rovers 0. And St Mirren 0, Ross County 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. We mentioned that goal at Lincoln. News of it from Samashu.
Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1. Shrewsbury's relegation is on hold for now, and it's confusion in the Lincoln City box. The goalkeeper George Wickens clatters John Marquise in the box, and it falls to Aaron Pierre, who just couldn't miss the open goal. Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1.
Thank you, Sam. Mentioned that goal at Barrow, Mark Webber.
Yeah, Barrow 1, Walsall 0. Barrow dominating play so much so Aaron Presley in the area, ball comes in, he has a shot, it comes off the keeper, but he's in for a safe rebound to make it Barrow 1, Walsall 0.
Garner with a shot low, saved well by Sells. Rebound is cleared away by Forrest. Gay plays it short towards Mikolenko. Just spins away from Jota. Here is Gay, 35 yards out from goal, along the ground. Broyer lays it off. Garner. That will probably go down as the first shot on target, wouldn't it? 24 minutes in. 0-0.
Best chance of the game, really. And again, Nottingham Forest sloppy, giving the ball away.
Harrison's cross takes a deflection off the back of Moreno behind for a corner kick to Everton. Leon.
Yeah, and again, the pressure coming from Nottingham Forest unnecessarily giving the ball away. Everton able then to pick it up, break forward into good spaces to run into, and it was a late run from Garner that just made it unawares behind Anderson and Dominguez and played into his path, probably 12-14 yards out on the angle, hit it well enough, but as has happened an awful lot this season, well saved by Sells.
Barnsley 2, Bolton Wanderers 0 is the latest score at Oakwell in League One. Everton have a corner kick over on that far side, the right. They're playing from right to left as we look at the Trent end. It's an in-swinger from Harrison, and Murillo is taking no chances with that. He climbs in front of his goalkeeper Sells and heads it behind for another corner kick at a relatively subdued City ground.
Yeah, they've had nothing to get excited about, because every time they try and mount an attack, Nottingham Forest, somebody's given the ball away, and it can be deflated. It can actually lift the opposition. And now Everton back-to-back corners. That was a good first delivery from Harrison. Nottingham Forest are under pressure here.
Another corner then on the right-hand side. It's deeper this time. It's still an in-swinger. Broyer flicks it towards the near post. Sells went to collect it, but again Murillo not taking the chance, and he swept it to safety. Mikolenko will hit the ball long, but there's a number of Everton players coming back from offside positions, but it just drops and nestles into the midriff of Matt Sells, who really has had an excellent season in goal, the Belgian keeper for Forest. 14 clean sheets in his 34 appearances for Nottingham Forest. 27 minutes played, 0-0. Jota out towards Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi with an opportunity to run at O'Brien. Left corner of the area, passes the ball back. Dominguez, 35 yards out from goal. He gets the ball back from Hudson-Odoi. Everton, with the exception of Broyer, have every blue shirt back behind the ball, as Murillo now will edge forward, still out towards that left. Moreno then shown on the inside, continues to come forward, finds Jota. Jota shoots low, straight at Pickford.
Yeah, good effort, good move from Nottingham Forest. Just started from long ball forward, and Chris Wood just a cheeky little nudge on Branthwaite as he was about to head the ball clear. It just made that Everton couldn't clear the ball. Suddenly Forest had good possession in Everton's half for once, before Everton had time to get themselves organised with that 4 and the 5 in front, and suddenly then the spaces start to open up for Hudson-Odoi, for Moreno, for Jota Silva, who eventually had the shot. Lovely clever pass into the penalty area, but just like with Njai at the other end a bit earlier, he just couldn't quite catch the shot enough to trouble the goalkeeper.
Port Vale had a second goal ruled out earlier, but I'm now told that they've scored again. Tom Gale.
This one will stand, Ian. Port Vale 2, Bromley 0. Devastating counter. Croasdale to the byline, cuts it back to the penalty spot, and Laurent Tolaya had one chalked off. This one will count. Port Vale 2, Bromley 0.
Now Accrington are leading Tranmere by 2-0 as Njai out towards Mikolenko. First time cross from the left-hand side. Broyer's downward header. Njai tried to flick it on, but it runs, didn't get much of a touch. It goes out wide for a goal kick. It remains 0-0. But the bottom two are playing each other, and Morecambe, who haven't lost in their last 4 games at home, have fallen behind. Carlisle United now lead. Morecambe 0, Carlisle United 1. That would actually mean that Morecambe drop to the bottom of League 2. It's so tight. At Tannadice, Dundee United lead St Johnstone by 1-0, and there are no other goals to tell you about. But we're approaching the half hour, and it remains 0-0.
Really good defending there, that last move. Everton, Njai again, no surprise at the heart of it. Brilliant little turn, but as that ball came in, really good defending from the centre half. Milenkovic just stepped across Njai just as he thought he was about to pull the pull the trigger, put the finishing touches to a decent Everton move. He just got his body in the way. Terrific defending. Just all the signs of this very well organised Nottingham Forest defensive unit. That's what they built their success on this season.
How does this game compare to the Manchester derby last Sunday?
It's not too far away, I've got to be honest.
We've got drama elsewhere. Penalty at the Amex. Henry Moran.
Penalty for Brighton. Chance for João Pedro to give the home side the lead against the Leicester side that were growing into the game. VAR calling referee Darren Bond to the side for a handball against Connor Cody. João Pedro waits. Hermansen all in green in front of him. Slow, stuttering approach. Rolled into the corner. It's Brighton 1, Leicester 0.
15 minutes to go to half-time. That's the first goal in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League. It remains 0-0 here, as it does at St Mary's between Southampton and Aston Villa. Cross from the left-hand side. Downward header by Jota into the ground. Took a lot of the pace off the ball. Comfortable save for Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, same couple of players involved again. Hudson-Odoi beating Harrison out on that left-hand side and puts it into an area. Had to pull it back behind the bunch that you'd expect to be challenging. And Chris Wood, Hrankovic, Branthwaite and Tarkowski pulled it into the area where it was Idrissa Gueye up against Jota Silva. Jota Silva actually sharp to a decent header, headed it down, but just a bit too far out to give Jordan Pickford any real issues. But an improvement from Forest. I think we're starting to see them just be a little bit more careful in possession, and they're getting a benefit from it.
That's going to be the 10th straight defeat, or could be the 10th straight defeat for Leicester City. The writing has been on the wall for some time. The writing is also on the wall for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Queen's Park Rangers, Bristol City, Mark Scott.
And Bristol City back level from out of nothing. They've been second best, but Max Bird with a really clever flick into the area, and George Earthy with the cool rolled finish makes it QPR 1, Bristol City 1.
0-0 here. Offside. Chris Wood coming back from an offside position. Nottingham Forest with most points at this stage of a season since the late 80s, 87-88, when they finished third. A season, incidentally, where Liverpool were crowned champions. They have 57 points from their 31 games. They've got the small matter of an FA Cup semi-final to look forward to very, very soon against Manchester City. You know, I think if you said to Forest fans at the end of last season, don't worry, next season you could be competing for a Champions League place, you could be potential FA Cup winners, that have thought you were mad.
Yeah, I mean, even the biggest believer would have thought that was a bit too far-fetched. I mean, you can get cups, to the latter stages of the cup, things can happen, the draw can go your way, you've won a couple of games, and they are deservedly in the position they are in the FA Cup, but to be where they are in the Premier League is absolutely remarkable, and testament to the good work the manager's done and how well the players have responded.
And he was recently actually named Manager of the Month for March, to go with his Manager of the Month titles in October and December, so 3 times during the season. 13 minutes to go to half-time. We'll get an update in the tennis. It's the Billie Jean King Cup. Russell Fuller.
And 2 wins out of 2 for Sonny Cartel on her debut for her country. She's rattled through the deciding set and won it 6-1 against Eva Vedder, which gives Katie Bolter the opportunity to seal the tie against the Netherlands and take Great Britain to September's finals.
Thank you, Russell. We're going racing soon as well. The Scottish Grand National, they're due off at 3:35 as Branthwaite passes the ball forward. Little flick there by Decore. I'm told there's just a slight delay, so we might just have to wait a few more minutes for what is turning out to be a rather soporific afternoon here in Nottingham. Boy, it's dull.
Yeah, I mean, you asked the question before about this and the Manchester derby. I did think this game would be a game of fine margins. I thought, with the styles of both teams, that they might have to be patient before any real chances have been made, but I don't think I was expecting the teams to be sloppy in possession on top of that, and that's been a huge part of what we haven't managed to see today.
No, I've just got the Garner shot, the only effort saved by Sells. Mikolenko has just taken an awkward fall. I think there was it Williams who just fell on top of him at the base of the back, he's feeling it, but he's back to his feet is Mikolenko. Semi-automated offside is being used, of course, for the first time in the Premier League. There's not been much call for that.
People have to run in behind for us to see that. Someone play a pass forward.
Mikolenko waits to take it for Everton, and he goes long for Njai. Murillo and Williams try and stop him. Can't pass the ball in field. Instead, Anderson will slide it up towards Gibbs-White. challenged by Branthwaite, wriggles free, outside of the right boot, up towards Hudson-Odoi, runs forward, O'Brien, this is better. Hudson-Odoi though is tackled by Garner on the edge of the Everton penalty area, and we've got 11 minutes to go to half-time. We had all that drama in the games in the Championship and earlier in the Premier League. Manchester City 5, Crystal Palace 2, wins for Leeds United and Plymouth Argyle. Wigan 0, Wrexham 0. Wigan incidentally still yet to win under Ryan Lowe. That's 4 draws and 2 defeats since he took charge. But as a result of that, Birmingham crowned champions. Wycombe closing the gap on Wrexham after their victory over Stevenage at home. Still they remain third. Doncaster 1, Wimbledon 1 and Swindon 5. This morning's leaders Bradford City 4. Port Vale lead Bromley by 2-0, but third place Walsall are behind. We'll keep you abreast of the other scores. But in the sunshine here at the City ground, those that are still awake will see that Anderson is midway through his own half and he rolls it out short towards Murillo, who trots forward. Blocked there by Harrison. And then back up towards Decore. And now Harrison again, his diagonal ball towards Broja. Opportunity to run at Milinkovic. They surround though Broja, who actually does well despite that and manages to run towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. The support comes in the shape of Harrison. Harrison delivers the ball and Jai waits and his header is straight itself. Good patient play.
Yeah, it was, and a wonderful cross at the end of that move. I mean, again, it starts with Murillo, Nottingham Forest centre-half, stepping forward, giving the ball away really poorly, and Everton trying to capitalise from it. Broja did really well. He got through 3 or 4 tackles before, and I thought he should have crossed it early. He didn't. He went outside to Harrison, who whipped a lovely ball into the back post over the head of Nico Williams, and he was at full stretch at Iliman Ndiaye, just trying to direct it back towards goal. He just about managed to reach it, but he couldn't generate any more power to make Sells really stretch in making that saves. But yeah, one of the best moves we've seen for a while.
The bright moments, and they've been few and far between, but the 2 best have fallen to Everton. But Jota picks it up now, and then out to Hudson-Odoi, but easily cleared by O'Brien. And you could hear the groans, the exasperation, the frustration from the home support.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been many times where Nottingham Forest have got good possession in between the lines of Everton. Jota Silva gets in between the midfield defence, gets turned. It's an easy pass out to Hudson-Odoi to then get at Jake O'Brien in a compromising position on the corner of the penalty area, and he mishits it. He underhit the pass yet again, and as you mentioned, this crowd are desperate to get involved to help their team achieve their goals this season, and this game's quite important for it. And another sloppy pass ruined that.
Mentioned that delay at the Scottish Grand National. They're now underway at Ayr. Darren Owen.
And we've already had drama at fence number 1 because last year's runner-up Surrey Quest has fallen and has badly hampered Sail Away, and Sail Away has parted company with Harry Skelton. That's one of the Dan Skelton runners. Olympic Man's gone off the favourite as they go towards fence number 3. Olympic Man, Spanish Harlem, Walking on Air and Clark Kent are all vying for the lead-in.
We'll be back with you very, very soon, Darren. St Mirren have equalised at home to Ross County. St Mirren 1, Ross County 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Mikolenko and the Sunshine coming forward in off the left touchline. This near side as Everton play from right to left. Decore out towards Harrison, right corner of the area. Harrison looking to deliver the ball. He waits, he passes the ball slightly back towards Gay. He cuts it forward towards Mikolenko, edge of the area. Decore side onto goal, now with his back to goal, but Everton still have the ball. O'Brien goes back down that right-hand side towards Harrison, closed down by Moreno. It'll be a Forest throw. Goal at Brighton, Henry Moran.
Leicester City have scored for the first time in 798 minutes of football, almost 13 hours going back to January, and the man that's got it, Steffi Mardidi, slamming the ball beyond Verbruggen. It is Brighton 1, Leicester 1.
In terms of a clock watch, for Nottingham Forest, it is now 6 hours and 38 minutes and counting since they last conceded in the Premier League at home, as another yellow card has been shown, and it's to Jared Branthwaite.
Yeah, poor touch. It was his own issue that got him the yellow card. An aimless ball forward really by Nottingham Forest, and he went to take it down on his left foot. It just seemed such an easy one. He just took his eyes off it for a moment, let it come off of his shin into the path of Jota Silva, who turned to run it. Last man Tarkowski, and Jared Branthwaite in his desperation or his desire to not let him attacking centre-half partner just bundled into him, landed on top of him, brought him down. Free kick on the halfway line, but a yellow card for Everton's centre-half.
A lift for Grimsby Town's play of aspirations in League 2. They've just taken the lead in North Yorkshire. Harrogate Town 0, Grimsby Town 1 is the latest score. 0-0 here at the City Ground. It is Murillo who hits it left-footed out towards the right corner of the area, aimed towards Milinkovic, cleared though by Mikolenko, hooked to downfield where Gay is challenged in the air by Nico Williams, and he didn't keep the ball in play. It will be a Everton throw. We've got 6 minutes to go to half-time.
I think that kind of summed the game up there. Long punt forward by Everton, trying to go on the counter-attack. The ball's bouncing really high, and Brozier and Idrissa Gueye look at each other, and between them they decided Idrissa Gueye should go to try and head the ball on and Brozier should run round it. Of course, Idrissa Gueye lost the header, and Everton's momentum was stopped. Just decision making on the pitch, a bit of quality in crucial moments has sadly been lacking today.
Let's get another update in the Scottish Grand National. Darren.
Well, there's plenty of drama here. Ian McDermott, last year's winner, has just been pulled up. Hastings has fallen. Snipe has fallen. We had Sail Away and Surrey Quest making an exit from the race at the first fence. Olympic Man, the favourite, partnered by Patrick Mullins, is making the running. He did have a few loose horses in front of him a moment ago, but he's got a lead of a couple of lengths over stable companion Clark Kent as they jump fence number 12 of 27.
Thank you, Darren. We'll be back for the closing stages of the Scottish Grand National here on 5 Live, but under 5 minutes to go to half-time. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 0. As Decore just outside the centre circle. Broja just getting there first was Anderson. Jota opens it out towards that left-hand side. Hudson-Odoi with a chance to run at O'Brien. He checks back though, waits. O'Brien, who's tall in front of him. Bit of a presence to try and get past, but Dominguez will give it back to Hudson-Odoi, whips it on the inside and allows Branthwaite unmarked to head that. And that clearance from Murillo has actually presented the ball towards Decore, but it was good play by Anderson. He was saw the danger, he was already running back, and Nottingham Forest will tide it up back towards Sells. We'll go back to Brighton. Henry Moran.
Brighton should have that lead back. Hitcherwood at the back post, somehow contriving to miss when it looked easier to score. Brighton 1, Leicester 1.
There is a stoppage at Cardiff City against Stoke City due to a medical incident in the crowd. So the players have left the pitch for the time being and returned to the dressing rooms in that vital game down at the bottom of the Championship. Cardiff 0, Stoke 0. As a shot comes in from distance, it was a good 30 yards out from Gibbs White. He might as well have a pot because nothing else is happening in open play.
Yeah.
Goal kick 0-0.
Yeah, absolutely. In this game it deserved a new. It was speculative. It was probably closer to 30 yards out than 25, and he got a little bit of space. No Everton players come to close him down. In fact, James Garner just stood as if he was in the wall, put his hands across his body and said, go on, have a shot, and Jordan Pickford was never troubled.
Broja makes the run in behind. Flag has stayed down. Milinkovic holds him up. Broja runs back down the touchline on this near side the left. Stockport County have equalised close to half-time at home to Rotherham United. Stockport 1, Rotherham 1 is the latest score. We've got 3 minutes to go to half-time. It remains 0-0, and this has been very much a 0-0. Sometimes you can see a goalless draw, and it's quality and lots of chances. This is anything but.
Yeah, I mean, we've struggled to get, certainly for Nottingham Forest, a row of 5 consecutive passes before giving the ball away. Everton have managed that a few times, created a few half chances, gotten opportunities on the edge of the penalty area, and I'm not sure they're always making the right decisions. But yeah, we need some more goal-mouth action. We need someone to really inspire this game at either end of the field.
Accrington Stanley are moving 8 points clear of the drop zone at the bottom of League 2. They've just got a third goal. They now lead Tranmere Rovers by 3-0. Remember, Carlisle are still winning away at Morecambe by 1-0. Under 2 minutes to the break, Mikolenko able to turn. Decore has a little glance over both shoulders, passes the ball out towards the right, popped off by Gay. O'Brien, who hardly featured at all under Sean Dyche. He actually only made 4 appearances under Sean Dyche, but he's appeared in 15 games since then, since David Moyes has taken charge, as the ball is floated out by Garner to Mikolenko on this near side the left corner of the area, crossing towards the penalty area. Murillo clears it. That bouncing ball will spin in the air, and it will go out of play for a throw. As we're going to go racing then, it's the Scottish Grand National and your commentator Darren Owen.
So in the Scottish National, pulled up now a Mr. Incredible. Spanish Harlem's out of the race, walking on air, pulled up earlier. Now Olympic Man's made much of the running in the hands of Patrick Mullins. They're about to turn into the straight. They've only got 3 fences to jump. Clark Kent for the Willie Mullins stables taking over. The nap hand is right there. Olympic Man is still going okay. Our Power's just in behind the leaders. Then Grosny, another Willie Mullins inmate. That is Captain Cody is getting a lot closer, and Chosen Witness made a mistake there as they head down towards the closing stages. They have 2.5 furlongs to go. They're only going to jump 2 more fences, and it is Clark Kent over on the far side. Here comes Our Power, Rock My Way, Captain Cody and Harry Cobden. Grosny's just in behind them. Olympic Man has dropped off the leaders and looks beaten. They're up the second last fence. Clark Kent rises in front there, and looking back, Olympic Man was hampered by the nap hand who fell. It's Clark Kent who's finding plenty on the run down to the last in the Scottish National, but the stable companion Captain Cody's coming at Clark Kent. Clark Kent over the final fence and goes a few lengths clear. It's Clark Kent from Captain Cody. Captain Cody is closing in. It's going to be a Willie Mullins 1-2, and Captain Cody has won the Scottish National. Clark Kent second, Our Power third, Grosny 4, and Rock My Way has followed them home. Captain Cody for Willie Mullins, partnered by Harry Cobden at 9-1, has just won the Scottish National, beating Clark Kent, the stable companion, at 14-1. An all-important result in the Trainers' Championship for Willie Mullins.
Thank you, Darren. You won't be surprised to know that it's still 0-0 here at the City Ground, and we're into stoppage time here. Burton Albion 2, Huddersfield Town 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Exeter City 2. So with a scoreline of Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1, it would be a stay of execution as far as Shrewsbury and their relegation is concerned. I would imagine your summing over this first half could be brief.
I don't know whether that would be classed as being a difficult summary or an easy one, to just say not much happened and moving on. I mean, I think both managers have got a bit of work to do at half time. Probably Nuno more than David Moyes in finding another level for this team that have been outstanding this season. I think away from home, I think David Moyes will be saying, considering Nottingham Forest have been off the levels, we probably should have done a bit more in that first half, guys, but let's not give too many opportunities away. But I expect Forest are going to have to find something second half. There's been nothing to talk about this first.
Never has half-time refreshment seemed so appealing, judging by the amount of supporters that were already heading towards the gangways to try and form their queues here at the City Ground, because the half-time whistle has sounded. We've had a Garner shot that was saved by Sells. We've had an Njai header that didn't really look like it was going to go in, and Gibbs White from long range. Half-time at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 0.
Well, the first 3 hours was really exciting. You two have brought that right down.
That's not the first time either.
No. do I even come back for the second half? What do I do?
I'd give it. I'd turn up for the first 5 or 10 minutes. Let's see what happens, and I'll let you know after that whether you need to stay with us.
If this is you taking the role of editor again, if you want to send us home, then we'll leave now.
Oh no, you can stay. Do lots of post-match interviews as well. Mind you, you're not the only one who's watching a stinker. I think at the moment, half-time in one of the other Premier League games, it's come at St Mary's. Chris Coles.
Riveting either, sadly. Southampton 0, Villa 0. Often the case with one team sitting 11 behind the ball, as Southampton are doing. Onus on Villa to find a way through, and they've not really threatened to do it. All of the ball, couple of nice moves resulting in half chances for Rashford, Tielemans and Asensio, also with efforts from range but easily saved. Simon Rusk will be pleased with his relegated side's fight and defensive organisation, but Villa need to be far more inventive if they're going to win this game. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0.
So we're relying on you, Henry Moran, for the entertainment.
Oh, it has been entertaining, in fairness. It's Brighton 1, Leicester 1, deep in added time. How Brighton aren't leading this game, I do not know. They've just hit the inside of the post. Matt O'Reilly's left-footed shot from the tight angle doing that. But Leicester have had their moments, particularly since the goal, the equalised, their first in months. Smashed home by Steffi Mavididi. But deep in added time, it's Brighton 1, Leicester 1.
In the National League, Barnet held at home by Wealdstone this lunchtime, so they lead at the top of the National League 9 points. York are trying to chase them down. They flew out of the blocks this afternoon at 3 o'clock. They led Aldershot 3-0 after a matter of 20 minutes or so, but Aldershot are pulling it back. They've scored a second on the stroke of half-time. It is York 3, Aldershot 2. Grimsby have got a second away at Harrogate in League 2 this afternoon. They've won 3 of their last 4. They're in 7th at the moment at David Artell's side. They are pushing one of several teams for a playoff spot. And York have just scored a 4th at home to Aldershot in the National League. York 4, Aldershot 2. Earlier in the Championship, Leeds beat Preston 2-1. Sheffield United lost again, beaten 2-1 at bottom of the table Plymouth. Sunderland guaranteed a playoff place. They're in 4th. They're not really looking up. They're not really looking down. I think that's where they're going to finish at the end of the season. Julia Bold.
At half-time, it is Sunderland 0, Swansea 0, and Swansea almost took a shock lead in the opening 2 minutes here. Sunderland keeper Anthony Patterson couldn't get hold of the ball. Swansea couldn't get a shot away. Eventually, Harry Darling put his right foot on it, but it was saved. Isidore hasn't scored for 8 games. He thought he'd got one. It was ruled offside. Best chance so far for the home side. Tommy Watson ran in from the left side into the box, but his shot was blocked. At the moment, though, it's been lively. Sunderland 0, Swansea 0.
So Sunderland in 4th being held, Bristol City in 5th being held. Mark Scott.
Yes, QPR 1, Bristol City 1. Rangers rewarded for a strong start with Dembele's well-taken header from Madson's cross. They then saw another couple of good chances come and go, with Bristol City not really at the races. But after they levelled with Earthy's sharp flicked finish following a cute through ball from Bird, it was the visitors who got on top, but it is 1 each at the break mark.
Coventry are in 6th. They don't play until Monday night at Hull, so a chance for Middlesbrough to go into the playoffs this afternoon. They're being held as well, though. Hamish Marshall at the Den.
Yeah, 0-0 here at Millwall. Not great, this, to be honest. A scoreline that doesn't help either side's playoff push. 42 minutes it took for the first effort on goal. It was a weak shot, though, from Borough's Morgan Whittaker. Hayden Hackney had earlier fired wide for the visitors, and Tristan Kramer headed over from Millwall. Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 0.
So West Brom can make ground on those above them as things stand, and they are making ground. Pat Murphy.
They lead Watford 1-0. Good work by Fellows early on. Cross to Grant, unmarked, 15 yards out, right foot finish. But after that, Watford grew into the game. Kayembe's been very, very lively. He had space and time, went for the volley, put it wide, but then 20 yards out, left foot shot against the post. I think West Brom are grateful to hear the half-time whistle. They lead Watford 1-0.
Just back to the Premier League, because the half-time whistle has gone at Brighton. Henry?
Brighton 1, Leicester 1. That 124-day drought without a goal has ended for Leicester. Steffi Mavadini firing home after João Pedro's penalty had put Brighton ahead. They could have scored 4 or 5, the hosts, but have been so wasteful. Leicester fans celebrated as if they'd won the league. They've got a goal. Brighton 1, Leicester 1.
That win for Plymouth over Sheffield United earlier back in the Championship has really put pressure on all the sides above them. 2 of those are Portsmouth and Derby. They're meeting at Fratton Park. Paul Scott.
It's goalless, but it's entertaining. Pompey with the better of the chances. They saw Colby Bishop's 6th minute penalty saved by Derby goalkeeper Jacob Vidal-Zetterstrom after he'd conceded the initial foul that led to the penalty. Matt Ritchie shot over, Josh Murphy at the goalkeeper, while Christian Sadie was in behind, only to see his low effort well saved. At the other end, Marcus Harness against his former club somehow with a single effort managed to hit both the underside of the bar and the inside of the post, but it bounced out. There's been Spice, there's been Needle, 5 yellow cards, but it's Portsmouth 0, Derby 0.
Goalless at Kenilworth Road as well. Nas Premji.
Yes, Mark. Luton Town 0, Blackburn Rovers 0. The home side with the best of the first period. Milanic Ali with a couple of chances. Jordan Clark with a shot blocked. And just before the break, a free kick floated in. Mark McGuinness, a cracking header just over the bar. Blackburn have rarely threatened, and Matt Bloomfield, the Luton boss, will be happier of the two managers at the break. Luton Town 0, Blackburn Rovers 0.
It's also goalless at Cardiff and Stoke, but there's been a delay there because of a medical emergency in the crowd. So they haven't reached half-time there. They have reached half-time at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday, who haven't won in their last 4, against Oxford, who haven't won in their last 9 away. Won't surprise you that it is goalless at Hillsborough. In League One earlier, Wigan 0, Wrexham 0. And Wycombe 1, Stevenage 0. The draw for Wrexham means that Birmingham win the title. So they are League One champions ahead of their EFL Trophy final tomorrow against Peterborough. It also means that Wycombe are now within a point of Wrexham in the race for automatic promotion. Now, Shrewsbury could be relegated this afternoon from League One. It depends on what they do. It also depends on other results going against them. As things stand, though, they're safe for the time being. Sam Ashew.
Yeah, as you say, Mark, Shrewsbury not going down just yet. Lincoln City 1, Shrewsbury 1. Shrews got off to the worst possible start when Tom Bayliss swept one in to the bottom corner, but they fought their way back. A bit of confusion between keeper George Wickens and a couple of Imps defenders. It gave Aaron Pierre a pretty much open goal. He just couldn't miss. Shrews have possibly had the better of the half. They've got better as the game has gone on, and they're giving 200 hardy fans in the away end something to cheer about after a pretty awful season. At the moment, at Sincil Bank, it's Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1.
So the reason they're not going down is because Bristol Rovers are losing. Exeter are 2-0 up at Bristol Rovers. They're on terrible form of Bristol Rovers. They've lost their last 5 in the league, which is why they're still not 100% safe. Elsewhere in League One at 3 o'clock, Barnsley lead Bolton by 2-0. John Russell got the first of Barnsley's goals. That's 7 for the season for him. Burton lead Huddersfield by 2-0. They're under threat of relegation of Gary Bowyer's side, but Roman Borrell's 9th of the season and Julian Larson, the difference between the two sides there. Goalless between Crawley and Leyton Orient, and Northampton and Reading. And Stockport did fall behind at home to Rotherham, but they equalised just before half-time. They're in 4th at Dave Challoner's side. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're level with Rotherham at the break. Now, earlier, Doncaster 1, AFC Wimbledon 1, and Swindon 5, Bradford City 4. So that defeat for Bradford gives Port Vale the chance to go top of League 2 this afternoon. They are at home to Bromley, and they're being watched by Tom Gale.
And they're doing just that, Mark. Half-time, Port Vale 2, Bromley 0. Game's first effort on target, rocketed home by teenager Jack Shorrock in the 5th minute. The 17-year-old then turned provider for Lauren Talai, but his back post strike was disallowed for offside. Talai wouldn't be denied his 12th league goal just before the half-hour mark. Croasdale's cut back to the penalty spot, swept home by the Swiss striker, who's comfortably making the step up from non-league. Bromley's way back into this seems to be through Crystal Palace loanee Danny Imre. Wingers full of trickery and pace, which the Vale backline can't live with. But at half-time, Port Vale 2, Bromley 0.
Elsewhere in League 2, 3rd bottom playing 4th bottom. Accrington in 22nd against Tranmere in 21st. And Accrington lead 3-0 at the break. Ben Woods with his 7th of the season. Tyler Walton's 9th of the season. And Josh Woods with the goal for John Doolan's side. Walsall on course for a 10th game without a win in the league, because Barrow lead by 1-0 there at the break. Chesterfield 0, Fleetwood 0, Gillingham 0, MK Dons 0. Good first half for Grimsby, who are 2-0 up at Harrogate. Kieran Green getting their first 7 for the season for him. The battle between the bottom 2 is going the way of the bottom side at the moment. It's Morecambe 0, Carlisle 1, Newport 0, Colchester 0, the other League 2 half-time. Into the National League, earlier leaders Barnet held 1-1 at home by Wealdstone. At 3 o'clock, Boston 1, Altrincham 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Hartlepool 1. Hartlepool down to 10 in that. Ebbsfleet 1, Sutton 0. Goalless between Halifax and Maidenhead. Rochdale are 2-0 up on Eastleigh. Southend trail Solihull Moors by 1-0. Tamworth 3, Braintree 2. Woking 0, AFC Fylde 0. Yeovil lead Oldham by 1-0. And York City, trying to close the gap on Barnet at the top of the table, lead Aldershot by 4-2. Into the Scottish Premiership at lunchtime, Celtic beat Kilmarnock by 5-1. So if Rangers lose to Aberdeen tomorrow, then Celtic will be champions before the split happens. This round of fixtures, the last round before the split in the Scottish Premiership. At 3 o'clock, Dundee United 1, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0, Hearts 0, St Mirren 1, Ross County 1. In the Championship, leaders Falkirk were held by Ayr 1-1 last night. Today, Morton 1, Livingston 2, Partick 0, Hamilton 2, Queen's Park 0, Dunfermline 0, and Wraith 1, Airdrieonians 1. In League 1, Alloa 0, Annan 0, Dumbarton 0, Cove Rangers 2, Inverness 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Queen of the South lead 10-man Montrose by 1-0. Leaders Arbroath play at tea time. They're at home to Stenhouse Muir. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, East Fife 0, Clyde 1, Forfar 1, Edinburgh 1, Elgin 0, Peterhead 1, Spartans 0 and Stirling 0, Stranraer 1. In the Rugby Union, in the Champions Cup this afternoon, Bordeaux lead Munster by 29 points to 10. Just coming up to 4 o'clock in the UK, 11 o'clock here in Augusta. We can get the latest BBC News. Here's John Barnes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. A law that would give the government control of the struggling British steel factory in Scunthorpe has cleared the Commons in a rare Saturday recall of Parliament. The Steel Industry Special Measures Bill is now being debated in the House of Lords. Ministers say the plan will help protect the UK's ability to make steel. And you can keep up to date with all the developments on the live news stream via BBC Sounds. Iran says talks on its nuclear program with the United States have begun in Oman. They're the highest level discussions since Donald Trump pulled out of a deal to limit Tehran's nuclear ambitions 7 years ago. And a teenager has appeared in court charged with the murder of a 35-year-old man who was fatally stabbed in Leicester on Wednesday. The 16-year-old boy, who can't be named because of his age, spoke only to confirm his name and address. He's due to appear at Leicester Crown Court on Monday.
When certain opportunities come, you have to take it.
The Manchester City club captain Carl Walker has joined AC Milan on loan.
I'm Carl Walker.
And I'm Michael Brown.
And welcome to the Carl Walker podcast with me in Milan and Brownie in Manchester.
Walker charges brilliantly. You can ask us anything about football, our careers, and about Kyle's life in Italy, or just random everyday stuff.
They're the moments that you do pinch yourself and being a kid from Sheffield.
The Kyle Walker Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Women's FA Cup semi-final weekend. The Manchester derby is tomorrow. You'll be able to watch that on BBC television. Today, Chelsea came from a goal down to beat Liverpool 2-1, so they are still on course for the quadruple. Manchester City came from 2 down in the Premier League to beat Crystal Palace 5-2. The comeback was sparked by Kevin De Bruyne scoring from a free kick. He got man of the match as well. Here he is with Steve Bauer.
Kevin, well done. Crazy game to watch. What was that like to play in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we started well. We had a couple of chances, and then, I don't know, out of nowhere, we're 2-0 behind and could have been 3. But the response was good. I thought overall we played pretty much a good game, but we gave 2-3 chances away, and they pounced on it. So it was a bit weird, the feeling, but the reaction was really good. And I think in the end we deserved to win, and yeah, it was quite good.
How much did you enjoy the role the manager gave you today?
No, it was good. Obviously, it was a bit the same, similar to the United, but we were struggling a bit more to create. I think today we found the spaces and created more. I think we were a bit more aggressive than last week, and we built on that, so it was nice.
Kevin De Bruyne with Steve Bauer. We're heading for a Six Nations decider between France and England. France won earlier. They beat Wales 42-12. So if England beat Ireland at 4:45, then it would be that showdown between England and France. You would expect. You can watch England's game in Ireland against the home side on BBC Two a little bit later on. Teams are back out at the City Ground. We don't want to miss a thing. Here's Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Mark. Now the side has made a change. So Sells is in goal for Forest. Williams, Murillo, Milinkovic and Moreno, Dominguez, Anderson, Gibbs-White, Jota, Wood and Hudson-Odoi. Red shirts, white shorts. Everton all in royal blue. Pickford in goal. O'Brien, Branthwaite, Tarkovsky, Mikolenko, Gay, Decore, Garner and Jai, Broya and Harrison. And our referee is Craig Pawson as the Forest anthem rings around the City Ground. And it is the home side who get us restarted for this second half after a very dull affair in the first 45 minutes. We'll hope that things will liven up sufficiently.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of efforts at goal. A couple of times the goalkeepers are stretched. They'll do us, and that comes from the players. I mean, wouldn't say there was an effort in the first half, but there was a serious lack of quality.
Harrison's cross looking for Decore. Hasn't been dealt with. The referee, though, has blown his whistle. There was a push there on Williams. And in the bright sunshine, then it will be a free kick to the home side. I would imagine that it was probably more thrilling watching Nottinghamshire Essex over the road than that first 45 minutes.
I'm sure it was. You enjoy the cricket, Ian?
Yeah, partial to watching a bit of cricket.
We could be over there in 10 minutes, the pair of us. No, I think both managers will have, certainly asked for more tempo in the game. Nottingham Forest in particular need to take the sloppy passes out, be assured with everything you're doing going forward. And yes, you don't want to leave yourselves open and exposed. And Nottingham Forest have been good at all season, playing from a good shape and positions and breaking forward. But against a team that are quite similar away from home, they may need to express themselves. They may need to make a run forward out of position, and maybe in trying to go and search for that goal, they leave themselves slightly exposed. But the bonus, the goal at the end of this, the 3 points could be huge for Nottingham Forest. They've got to go and get them.
Essex are 197 for 3, just in case you wondered, in their first innings on day 2 of that championship game. This is 5 Live, the World Service. We're also live on BBC Sounds. We'll keep you in touch with the goals as they go in, as Everton are forward with Garner. Passes the ball to O'Brien, and the Irish defender joins the attack and then passes the ball down this right touchline for Harrison, just in the shadows of the main stand, to Garner, who's ahead of him. Back then to Harrison. Can he deliver the ball off his left boot? Instead, no, he passes it back to O'Brien. And still they play, and then eventually they're being worked all the way back from a promising position towards Tarkowski.
Yeah, and that's it. Everton then got into a position to be able to cross the ball. Bodies in the penalty area. 3 different occasions. They had clear opportunities to cross the ball and worked it all the way back into their own half.
Here is Njai now left-hand side. Milinkovic comes out of defence, gets there, it goes out for an Everton throw. Before the Liverpool defeat, they were unbeaten in 9 in the Premier League with Everton. The draw with Arsenal last week means 6 without a win since they beat Crystal Palace by 2-1. And yet, depending on your mentality, whether you're half full or half glass empty, it is 1 defeat in 11 in the Premier League since mid-January.
You're only always half full, aren't you? You're only always half full, Ian. But I'm trying to be positive on this occasion. That there's an injury going on at the moment, but I think Everton will say that they haven't picked up points so quickly. I don't think these draws are the end of the world. It's, as I mentioned earlier, Everton have lost 10 games this season. Nottingham Forest have lost 8. So it's changing those defeats into victories, changing those draws that Everton have got into victories that Nottingham Forest have been good at. But I think it's important that you're not a team that get beat easily, that if nothing else, you're going to keep a clean sheet, you're defensively solid, and then you work on building the momentum of the team going forward.
Whilst Leon's been talking, Murillo has gone down, and it looks like an issue. Is it with his shoulder? Has he fallen awkwardly as that cross came in from Harrison? Murillo, who's been such an important player, it was an awkward fall. And anyway, he's getting some treatment, as we'll go to Southampton and Chris Coles.
Remains Southampton 0, Villa 0. We're back into the pattern of the first half. Villa with all of the ball, patiently trying to break through Southampton. A couple of long-range efforts. Amadou Onana forcing a decent save from Ramsdale. And Southampton have made a half-time change. Tyler Dibbling on for Paul Onuachu. Southampton 0, Villa 0.
Crawley Town are leading Leyton Orient by 1-0 in League One. Millwall Middlesbrough. Hamish Marshall.
0-0, couple of minutes into the second half. Home side have been bright at the start. George Honeyman with a shot, well saved by Mark Travers, down low to his right. Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 0.
Murillo is back to his feet. He's just trying to wheel his arm. It looks like it is his right shoulder that has taken a bit of an impact as he dealt with that cross as it came in. As a throw for Everton on that far side, the left, flicked on by Tarkowski, headed further away by Gibbs-White. Garner with his back to goal outside the area. Gay's overrun that. Hudson-Odoi with a challenge, and then that's headed forward by O'Brien. So Everton in this second half are attacking the Bridgeford end of the ground, where the Everton supporters have travelled down from Merseyside in good number, and many of them are having to shield the sun from their eyes as they watch on as O'Brien takes a throw for the away side. Still 0-0, 5 minutes into the second half here on 5 Live. They've been solid, haven't they, Everton?
Yes, and I think that's a trademark of both teams. That's why coming into the game, I wasn't sure how the game would go. I knew it would be, the chances would be few and far between, but certainly defence is on top. Both teams look like they're not wanting to, or in a position to give much away, but I was expecting teams to be better. I've said it again, but I've never seen two teams as sloppy in a half of football as we did in that first half.
And Njai tries to wriggle away from Dominguez on that far side, the left. They've doubled up on him, and then Njai with a trip on Williams, and that will be a free kick to the home side. Is the onus not on Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Everton coming away from home to the team that third in the Premier League, chasing Champions League football. If Everton come away with a point, it doesn't matter what the game was like. It's a good solid point as far as David Moyes and Everton are concerned. It's, as I mentioned before, Nottingham Forest, the impetus is on them. They may have to start raising the tempo to gamble. Their fullbacks may need to push forward and go in search, try and stretch this Everton defence. Yes, it might leave yourself exposed, but the difference between 1 point and 3 points is obviously 2 points, but it can be huge when it comes to the final outcome of a season.
They've only just reached half-time due to that medical emergency at Cardiff. Cardiff City 0, Stoke City 0 at the break in that delayed game. Leyton Orient have got an equaliser at Crawley. Crawley Town 1, Leyton Orient 1 is the latest score in League One. 5 Lives Premier League Sunday from midday tomorrow. Liverpool, West Ham United at 2, Newcastle United, Manchester United at 4:30, and we'll of course have the US Masters, the final round on 5 Live from 8 o'clock tomorrow night. 7 minutes into the second half, it remains 0-0. Here is Anderson in between the two central defenders. The fullbacks are pushed on for the home side. Red shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left as we look. Back it goes to Anderson. Dominguez closed down by Harrison. Murillo passes it forward to Dominguez, but still inside the Nottingham Forest half. St Mirren 2, Ross County 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Moreno is forward, slides across. Tarkowski gets the ball out for a Forest throw.
Yeah, much better from Nottingham Forest. Yes, you mentioned that quite a number of their passes were inside their own half, but it just showed that they're capable of doing that. Just moved the Everton players into positions they didn't quite want to be with those short passes. Suddenly, then the gap opens up for Murillo to spread that, really thread that pass through to the corner as Everton's penalty area. Now suddenly a throw in the corner, very dangerous position as the centre halves go forward.
Moreno waits to take the throw on this near side, the left, attacking the Trent end. In it comes now, headed on by Milinkovic and gathered in by Jordan Pickford. Mentioned some of the results from earlier on in the Premier League, the Championship, Scottish Premiership, League One and League Two. The Women's FA Cup semi-final, Chelsea beat Liverpool by 2-1. Manchester City's women against Manchester United tomorrow, live on BBC Two from 3 o'clock. Luton Town 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Luton Town, remember, next to bottom in the Championship, falling behind at Kenilworth Road. Match of the day tonight, incidentally, 10:20 on BBC One. 0-0 it remains here at the City Ground between Forest and Everton. And Njai over on that far side couldn't keep the ball in play. It will be a Forest throw. Mentioned that game had reached half-time. Molly Stevens at Cardiff.
Yes, goalless here. Both sides clearly know what's at stake this afternoon, Ian. Both on the attack, good shots made, but lacking that clinical finish on target. And without that, the intention isn't enough in a game that's so important. Understandably subdued feeling in the stadium after a medical emergency in the stands. But we are told that the supporter is conscious, stable, and on his way to hospital. Cardiff City 0, Stoke 0.
Well, that is good news. And here's news of that goal at Kenilworth Road from Naz Premji.
It was Yuri Hashi, Ian. A lovely ball through from Ryan Hedges. He went round the keeper and made no mistake. Luton 0, Blackburn 1.
Remember, Derby still drawing away at Portsmouth, and Luton Town, as the ball goes forward for Njai, sells quickly off his goal line, cleared away. Plymouth, though, did move on to 40 points. So if anything, it's just tightened up now at the bottom of the Championship with Plymouth's victory earlier on at Home Park.
Oh, what a big moment of the game that was. Something out of nothing. Everton, Tarkowski on the ball, probably 15 yards outside of his own penalty area, and he just put a long diagonal forward into the D of the Nottingham Forest penalty area, just 2 or 3 yards outside, and Jai had run from Everton's left inside Nico Williams, and he brought the ball down brilliantly first time, under pressure with the outside of his foot, took another touch. I'm not sure he needed it before then trying to finish, and in doing so, that extra touch just allowed Matt Sells just to come charging out to him and close the angle that made him smother the effort from Iliman Njai, probably on the penalty spot by the time the two of them made contact. Really good goalkeeping, great save, but big chance missed there from Iliman Njai.
That's the voice of Leon Osman. It remains 0-0. Ilanga is just warming up. as Everton are taking their time with this free kick. Charlie Kelman has scored again. Leyton Orient now lead at Crawley by 2-1. So it is fractionally right of centre. It is midway through the Nottingham Forest half. We're 11 minutes into the second period. It remains Forest and Everton locked in a stalemate. Harrison now walks away. Garner is also there. Forest have got everybody back in and around the penalty area. It goes high towards the far post. Branthwaite is there. Loose ball. Nobody could get there. And Jota is able to swivel and clear it for Forest.
Yeah, continued pressure from Everton. Really good ball to the far post. O'Brien put it back into the danger area, probably inside the frame of the goal, 6 yards out, and it was bodies in there. It was a back heel. I think it was Malikovic that just seemed to be able to stick that left leg out behind him and just divert it away from on-rushing Everton defenders. Cleared it now, Nottingham Forest, but it's Everton still in possession.
Tickford goes long, and Moreno tried to direct his header back towards Sells, but only gave away a corner as Chesterfield lead Fleetwood Town by 1-0 in League Two. And it's the supporters from Merseyside. You might be able to hear in the background.
Yeah, the Everton are the team pushing. I thought it would have to be Nottingham Forest, but it's not. Still haven't got themselves going. It's Everton asking the questions, and you feel with the way the game has gone, it'd be huge if Everton got a goal at this stage.
Burton Albion 3, Huddersfield 0. Corner kick for Everton. We're going straight to the Amex after this corner kick. In the commentary game, though, it's goalless so far. Harrison arms aloft near side to right. Plenty of activity in the penalty area. Harrison goes towards the far post, and it will be cleared by Forest. So straight to Henry Moran,
where there is a second VAR penalty given to Brighton. João Pedro with the ball on the spot, scored in the first half. He steps up now again. The stuttering approach goes high into the top right corner. Brighton have the lead again. Brighton 2, Leicester 1.
It remains Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0. As Forest are attacking Moreno on the left. Jota will shoot straight into the legs of Branthwaite. Carlisle United have got a second goal. They were bottom this morning, but they're going to come off the bottom of League Two, and Morecambe will replace them. As Morecambe 0, Carlisle United 2 is a latest scoreline, and Mark Hughes still dreams maybe of producing some dramatic escape for Carlisle, as Ilanga is going to be coming on, and the player who is going to be going off is Jota.
Yeah, it's the right time for a substitution. It's the right time to introduce Ilanga. I mean, Nottingham Forest nearly created something then just because he stood up into the technical area. The crowd just seemed to get excited. It just seemed to inspire this left side of Nottingham Forest. Hudson-Odoi and Moreno, they just had a little bit of a pass between them, a little bit of an improved tempo to their attack, and nearly created something. But now Ilanga's on. He's actually gone right up alongside Chris Wood. It's Gibbs White that's gone out to the right where Jota Silva was playing.
Jota had scored 2 and 2, albeit off the bench. Unable to make an impact, though, with that first Premier League start since late January. So Ilanga has come on for him. Blackburn Rovers, incidentally, as Broja cuts it back towards Harrison. Harrison to the penalty area, required Williams to clear. Blackburn Rovers, who are playing away at Luton Town in the Championship. Just the computer decides to freeze on me. I think I'm right in saying that it just popped up that there's a player been sent off for Blackburn. And indeed there has. Montgomery has been sent off, so they're leading Luton Town by 1-0, but they're now down to 10. That's Premji.
Yeah, Christy Montgomery, 2 yellow cards within 11 minutes. Referee, both yellows correct. Well, they are down to 10, and the free kick from that second challenge just over from Luton. Luton 0, Blackburn 1.
Goal at Sunderland now, Julia Bold.
And it is Sunderland 0, Swansea 1. Ben Campagno was on target. There was a scuffle in the box. He was the one to put it in the back of the net. It is a shock lead for the visitors. Sunderland 0, Swansea 1.
Thank you, Julia. Sunderland, of course, already assured of a playoff place, 4th in the table, but Swansea leading there on Wearside. So still 0-0 here, still 0-0 at Southampton. Earlier, Manchester City beat Crystal Palace by 5-2. Brighton lead Leicester by 2-1. Brighton, bearing in mind that 5th place offers Champions League football next season, only 3 points off Chelsea. Forest now attacking with Hudson-Odoi, left-hand side of the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi waits, pulls it back. Dominguez joins the attack, 30 yards out from goal. passes the ball back out to this near left-hand side. Anderson is alongside Hudson-Odoi. Anderson looks up, left-footed cross into the penalty area. Elanga is there, headed away though by Gay, comes towards Dominguez. Wood we've hardly mentioned. He tees up Williams. Williams will shoot. That was blocked inside the penalty area by Branthwaite. Loops up in the air and Everton can clear. But then Broja can't hold on to the ball and Forest have it again.
Yeah, pushing forward, finally starting to see. Oh, there you go, backed up with a sloppy pass, but finally just started to see Nottingham Forest being prepared to get bodies forward, being prepared to put Everton on the back foot, playing 1 or 2 percentage passes, having the runners getting behind Hudson-Odoi in particular.
Here is Elanga to Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White, who's got the ability to make things happen with a cross. Now Wood takes a tumble, diving forward inside the 6-yard area. There are penalty appeals from the crowd, not the players really. In it goes then from Moreno, and the little flick by Gibbs-White is patted down by Pickford.
Yeah, inventive from Gibbs-White. That ball from Moreno was not intended, not where he intended it to be. It was slightly behind Gibbs-White, and he's probably about 15-16 yards out on line with the back post, and he's trying to flick it with the outside of his right foot. Actually gets it on target, makes Jordan Pickford get over and make the save, and cross that came in moments before to the back post. I don't think there was a penalty in it. There was a coming together between O'Brien and Wood, but certainly not enough to be a penalty kick. The referee was really close.
Beto is going to be coming on for Everton, as we'll get the team news from Arsenal-Brentford with Conor McNamara.
And after the heroics against Real Madrid here on Tuesday, no surprise that Mikel Arteta makes 5 changes to his team today. Tierney and Zinchenko come into the defence. There are rests for Odegaard, Saka and Marino, so Trossard, Jorginho and Nwaneri start. Brentford make 1 change from their draw at home to Chelsea last Sunday. Janelt starts in place of Yarmouk.
Yes, Mikel Arteta made 5 changes for the Everton game last Saturday lunchtime, made the 5 then against Real Madrid, and I'm sure those players rested will come back into the team for the Bernabeu on Wednesday night, a game incidentally you'll be able to hear live on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 3 nights of live European football next week. Tuesday Villa Park, Wednesday the Bernabeu, Old Trafford on Thursday, as Hudson-Odoi can't get past O'Brien and Everton clear. Another goal at West Brom. Pat Murphy.
Goal to West Brom, 2-0. Great work again by Fellows. Low cross, stabbed in left-footed by Johnson. West Brom 2, Watford 0.
That means in the live league table, West Bromwich Albion moved within 2 points of the playoff positions. Middlesbrough still drawing 0-0 away at Millwall. 0-0 here in the Premier League, 63 minutes played. Here is Dominguez. Beto still waits to come on for Everton. Elanga looking to try and link up with Moreno, breaks down, Tarkowski digs it out and clears long, out for a Forest throw.
Yeah, Everton now looking to make a substitution, partly to break the game up, partly because I think that's all Broja had in the tank, to be honest. I think he was alright for certainly the first half and maybe 10 minutes of the second half, but he's certainly tired. He's not played an awful lot of football. Bringing Beto into the action certainly add energy. May ask a few questions of that Forest defensive pairing. They don't come up against people of Beto's ilk very often, but yeah, no surprise really.
Beto, who's scored 5 goals in his last 10 starts for Everton. And here is Decore looking for Beto to get on to the end of this. It strikes his head, goes a long way away from him and allows Williams to help it for Nottingham Forest. Branthwaite challenges Elanga in the air. It settles for Garner, hits a weighted ball up towards Harrison. Harrison's onto this as a result on the outside of Murillo, but Murillo recovered very well to get the block in. Behind it goes for an Everton corner, 0-0.
Yeah, really good ball from James Garner in the midst of that to Harrison, but that's just an initial thing that Beto can give you. Sometimes without touching the ball, he, unlike Broja, will just spin and run in behind. That means Forest's 2 centre-halves have to turn and go with him. Suddenly there's a whole lot more space in that number 10 area, in those pockets, for Everton to get hold of the ball, and that's what happened on that occasion. Forest having to drop away, Everton forcing a corner.
St Mirren 2, Ross County 2 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Everton all in royal blue, playing from left to right, 0-0, have a corner kick near side the right. Harrison to take it, in swing, it comes off the head of Dominguez in a very crowded 6-yard area. Gibbs-White picks it up, gets it out from underneath his feet, passes the ball forward, but there was Branthwaite running back to get there before Elanga, and Everton will see it all the way back to Jordan Pickford. 25 minutes remain, 0-0.
Yeah, sloppy again from Nottingham Forest. Everton haven't given Nottingham Forest too many opportunities on the counter-attack. what Forest have tried to create has had to be going through the thirds and being particular and meticulous with the passes. Well, that was a big counter-attack moment there for Nottingham Forest, what they're very good at, and just a sloppy pass in the main moment, and suddenly it's, you've got nothing to go and attack.
We've kept you in touch with the tennis, the Billie Jean King Cup. We've had the Scottish Grand National, the racing at Ayr, obviously the golf to look forward to later on. The Bahrain qualifying, incidentally, will be on the BBC Sport website between 5 and 6 o'clock this evening, as there has now been a goal at Millwall in the Championship. Hamish Marshall.
And it's a big goal for Millwall's promotion push. They lead Middlesbrough by a goal to nil, and it's Mihaila Ivanovic from 12 yards out. Good low finish there, 4 and 5 for him. Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0.
It means that Middlesbrough drop a place. West Brom will go above them with that scoreline, and Millwall are also closing in on Coventry City. They were 5 points off the playoffs this morning. 0-0 though here in the Premier League. Forest with Hudson-Odoi. Did he keep the ball in play? Yes, just about. Then rolled forward by O'Brien, and Decore will come forward on the right hand side, and then Murillo can't keep it in play, and Everton will get a throw in as a result. There's been a goal up Port Vale now in League 2. Tom Gale.
Port Vale 3, Bromley 0. Free kick not cleared. Substitute George Byers lashes home inside the 6-yard box. Port Vale 3, Bromley 0.
Bradford City earlier lost at Swindon by 5 goals to 4. Walsall are still losing at Barrow. It means that Port Vale will be 3 points clear at the top over Bradford City. Doncaster and Wimbledon drew earlier 1-1, so for the 3 automatic promotion places there is just a point between Walsall and Doncaster at the top of a very congested League 2. This is 5 Live. No other goals elsewhere around the country to tell you about. Milinkovic chips it forward, headed away, and a strong header by Tarkovsky off the chest of Beto, but he might have been pulled back by Dominguez. The referee has let the game flow, playing the advantage. Craig Pawson. Mikolenko infield now towards Decore, and now it is with Garner to Harrison. Harrison right hand side. Harrison's cross comes off the outstretched leg of Murillo and goes out of play. That could have gone anywhere. Corner kick to Everton.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, good sharp play there from Everton, moving the ball down the right hand side. A little bit of, again, a talk it tempo. This game's been so slow at times and flat that as soon as one team has just raised the tempo, started to make a couple of speedy, fast runs. I know the temperature's a little bit warmer today, but everyone's just fallen into that really relaxed momentum of the game. As soon as somebody raises the tempo, opportunities are opening.
Everton, I forgot to tell you, have made a change. Iliman Ndiaye, with 4 goals in his last 5 starts, has been replaced by Carlos Alcaraz for Everton, who have that corner in front of the travelling support. Far side the left, another in-swinger, comes off a Forest head in Williams, headed further away by Anderson. And there is Gay, who will come across, and he hooks it back in. It's an awkward one, hasn't been dealt with. And then the shot in the end from O'Brien goes behind for another corner kick. Another goal at Vale Park. Tom Gale.
It's turning into a rout. Port Vale 4, Bromley 0. Lauren Tolai with his second of the afternoon. Right side of the penalty area. Beats the keeper at his near post. Vale 4, Bromley 0.
They're on a good run of form. That will be a 6th win in their last 7 games. Good spell for Everton, this.
Yeah, really good spell. Often Jake O'Brien gets himself into really positive attacking positions, and he was the quickest to react as that ricochet fell his way, and it's his effort that was forced over for a corner.
Corner kick comes in now from Harrison. Again, doesn't beat the first man, and it'll be a goal kick. Penalty now at Southampton. Chris Coles.
Marco Asensio steps up for Villa, and Aaron Ramsdale makes the save in the Southampton goal. Brilliant save, low down to his left, and it's still Southampton 0, Aston Villa 0.
Thank you, Chris. Aston Villa, of course, are one of the clubs in the chasing pack, looking to close down Nottingham Forest for Champions League football for next season. We talked earlier about the last time that Forest were in Europe's elite competition. Next season would be 30 years since they were last involved in Europe. That was the UEFA Cup 95-96, and still they remain in the box seat despite the sides bunching up behind them as Anderson. Now the referee's given a free kick. Beto making a handful of himself. Free kick to Everton midway through the Forest half goalless.
Yeah, again, I mean, Everton aren't doing an awful lot, but Forest just can't seem to get into Everton's half. It's been so far off what I thought I would see from Nottingham Forest. I mean, yes, it's tense. Yes, they're getting to this stage of the season, and Everton haven't given anything easy for Nottingham Forest, but I expected to see chances and opportunities at both ends of the field, really. It's only really been Everton in this second half that have been asking any questions.
Ryan Yates might be coming on, but Forest are lacking a spark as Everton have a free kick. Harrison will take it, directed towards Branthwaite. The referee, though, has blown his whistle. There's been a goal at Fratton Park. Paul Scott.
A big goal as well. It is Portsmouth 0, Derby County 1. Despite Pompey's dominance in this second half, it's the visitors who have taken the lead. Forsyth's cross from the left, met by the head of Jerry Yates. Portsmouth 0, Derby 1.
Only one win in 12 away games for Derby County. They needed that, and even then it will still only take them 2 points clear of Cardiff City, who remain 0-0 against Stoke City in that delayed game down at the bottom of the Championship. Ball back to O'Brien. Pickford stumbles as he hits it left-footed. Had to hit it early. Bouncing ball, slipped by Murillo. Kept in play by Beto. No, not quite. Murillo, actually, I think someone might have stood on his left hand there. He's had a blow to his right shoulder, and now someone stood on the back of his right hand as he's helped to the pitch by Beto.
Yeah, he just slipped over, and he was actually fortunate that he was just close enough to the touchline. That ball skipped away. Yeah, just seeing it again. It was Beto just tried on his fingers in that moment, but had that ball not gone out, it was 2v1 for Everton.
There's been another goal at Fratton Park. Back to Paul Scott.
Derby County were not ahead for long. Portsmouth 1, Derby 1. A corner from the left-hand side, met by the head of Rob Atkinson across the face of goal and into the opposite top corner. Portsmouth 1, Derby 1.
Portsmouth is still one of those clubs as well who are looking over their shoulders. They were this morning only 3 points clear. It's so tight down at the bottom. As here is Branthwaite, who should be a routine clearance, left-footed, deep inside his own half. Everton playing from left to right. It remains 0-0 as Anderson in the midfield. Yates still waits to come on. Ilanga, you'll be able to hear him in the latest Football Daily podcast on the feed from 5 Live on BBC Sounds in conversation with Dion Dublin as the substitute loses the ball, and Everton now have it with Alcaraz inside the centre circle of the Forest half. Forward ball that Gay is able to take in his stride. Passes the ball out now to Harrison on the right hand side. Moreno is ahead of him, shimming around the ball. Harrison delivers the cross. It might fall here towards Decore. Hits it left footed, and the block came in, and it was a good block by Nico Williams. Diverts it behind for a corner kick to Everton, and we've got 17 minutes remaining, and it remains goalless.
Yeah, brave block. I think he's took one in a particularly sore place, Nico Williams, but he'll probably won't care when he gets up and realises he's just stopped what looked like a goal for Everton. Good play again down this right hand side. Alcaraz with a lovely threaded pass between the lines of Nottingham Forest, and Harrison decided to go on the outside, step over on the outside, and just left it in a position. Everton had 3 players all lined up trying to get on the end of it, just snuck in between 2 of them before Decore had his touch and effort towards goal that was blocked by Williams.
Nico Williams is being reminded of his Liverpool connections by the Everton supporters behind that goal. Corner kick then remains 0-0. Dominguez will be the player to make way for Yates. In it comes now that corner kick. It's a deep one and it curls all the way out and out for a goal kick. Southampton, Aston Villa, Chris Coles.
They missed a penalty 4 minutes ago, but now Aston Villa lead, and it is Ollie Watkins off the bench to score wonderfully. Through ball, aerially hit, and Watkins stretches out a leg to lift it over Aaron Ramsdale off the bar and in. Southampton 0, Villa 1.
Looking for a 4th successive win in the Premier League as a pick-me-up ahead of the visit of Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday night. A game you'll hear live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Dominguez gets a little slap of the hand by his manager Nuno Espirito Santo. Yates is on for Forest. Stockport County 3, Rotherham United 1 is the latest score in League One. And we have just over 15 minutes remaining, so very, very soon we'll be rattling through all the divisions with all the latest scores up and down the country here on 5 Live. As Pickford goes long with the goal kick for Everton. I think we've had fewer opportunities in the second half than we did in the first. Here is Alcaraz. This is Decore, cuts it back. Harrison has to spin, and he got the left-footed shot away. There was a swish of the hand by Sells, but it was already going over. There was no touch. It's a goal kick, but again, better chance for Everton.
Yeah, Everton breaking forward. Alcaraz at the heart of it again. He looks great when he's driving with the ball, picking the right pass. And actually, when the ball went out to Decore, I wondered if he'd shoot. He played a nice pass inside to Harrison, who in his time at Everton, he's worked hard, he's created chances, he's never been convincing in front of goal, and that kind of showed why. He was always leaning back, he was never comfortable, that he knew he was going to be the player to shoot, and in the end, he was only probably 10 yards out, couldn't keep it under the crossbar.
There is a third goal of the afternoon at Fratton Park. Paul Scott.
A third goal in 4 minutes. It is Portsmouth 1, Derby County 2. Derby are ahead again, this time across from the left-hand side, met by Rob Atkinson. Just 3 minutes after scoring at the right end, he scored at the wrong end. It's Portsmouth 1, Derby 2.
Stoppage in play here on that far side. There's an Everton player down, which is Jared Branthwaite. Earlier in Scotland, Celtic 5, Kilmarnock 1. So they'll win the title if Rangers lose at Aberdeen tomorrow. The latest scores: Dundee United lead bottom of the table St Johnstone by 1-0 at Fir Park. It's Motherwell 0, Hearts 0, and St Mirren 2, Ross County 2 is a latest score. Branthwaite is back to his feet. The results in League 2: Doncaster 1, Wimbledon 1, Swindon 5, Bradford City 4, Accrington 3, Tranmere 0, Barrow 1, Walsall 0, Chesterfield 2, Fleetwood 0, Gillingham MK Dons is goalless, Harrogate 0, Grimsby Town 2, Morecambe 0, Carlisle United 2. Carlisle will swap places at the bottom of the table with Morecambe as a result. Newport 0, Colchester 0, Port Vale going back top. They lead Bromley by 4-0, and another goal at Brighton, Henry Moran.
Would you believe it? A Leicester City equaliser. Brighton 2, Leicester 2, and it's Caleb Akoli's first goal for the club. Free kick to the back post, nodded in beyond the goalkeeper. They are checking for offside at the moment. It remains, though, Brighton 2, Leicester 2.
Semi-automated offside will improve the efficiency, we are told, rather than the accuracy, but there are around 30 cameras now helping out for that semi-automated offside, as Decore to Mikolenko on that far side. Williams, does he foul him? Yes, he does. It'll be a free kick. Talking of offside and assistant referee and linesman as they were back in the day, Darren Cann today, his 579th and final game, running the line of a great illustrious career. Lovely man as well, so we wish Darren all the best in his retirement from everybody at 5 Live. That goal was given, incidentally. So Brighton 2, Leicester City 2. Barnsley 3, Bolton Wanderers 0 is a latest score in League 1. We've got about 12 minutes to go of this game, and it remains 0-0, but Everton are the ones who are pressing for a win. And in front of the travelling support, playing from left to right, few yards in from that left touchline. Nottingham Forest have got every red shirt back in and around the penalty area. That Sells waits. The Forest line of defence is on the 6-yard box. In it comes now, very crowded, headed away by Ryan Yates. Alcaraz will head it forward and then lifts, and then he was checked by Yates, and there was just a natural coming together. The Everton supporters are looking for something, but Alcaraz has been, I think it was a clash of heads, wasn't it? Alcaraz has come the worse off.
Well, there certainly was a coming together, there was certainly contact, and he had a poor delivery into the penalty area, but when it came out, Alcaraz was the first to react, and I'm just seeing it again. Alcaraz heads it into the penalty area, actually then gets the first touch, and Yates is clever. On the referee's blind side, he's got in with an arm in the air, and on the other side, you see it from the other angle, he's actually put his shoulder right into the chest and chin of Alcaraz and made sure he wasn't passing anymore. It looks innocent, he knew exactly what he was doing in that situation, and in fact it's not a penalty kick, you'd say it's good defending.
That's the voice of Leon Osmond. This is the voice of Chris Coles, who's just witnessed another goal.
Another goal for Villa, another goal for a Villa substitute. Doniel Marlon has surely put this game beyond Southampton's reach. Rodgers found him on the right of the area. Marlon found the bottom corner. Southampton 0, Villa 2.
Tranmere Rovers have got a goal back, but they still trail. Accrington Stanley 3, Tranmere Rovers 1, down at the foot of League 2. To the Championship, another goal, Pat Murphy.
It's West Brom 2, Watford 1 now. Watford deserved to pull one back, made by a prodded pass from Luzo, 30 yards. Nobody picked up Sissoko, ran through, finished easily. West Brom 2, Watford 1.
Earlier in League 1, Wigan Athletic 0, Wrexham 0. Phil Parkinson's side unbeaten in 6. They still have the box seat behind the now champions Birmingham City. Wycombe Wanderers, though, did close the gap, beating Stevenage by 1-0 after that goalless draw between Wigan and Wrexham. These are the latest scores. Barnsley 3, Bolton 1. Bristol Rovers 1, Exeter City 2. Burton 3, Huddersfield Town 0. Cambridge United 0, Charlton 1. Crawley 1, Leyton Orient 2. Lincoln 1, Shrewsbury 1. Northampton 0, Reading 0. Northampton are down to 10 men. Stockport lead Rotherham by 3 goals to 1. So as it stands, as Everton hit it with Garner, does it take a deflection on its way through? No, a goal kick. As it stands, Shrewsbury will not be relegated, although mathematically it's only on goal difference that they are remaining as that side in League One. It's the 12 points behind Bristol Rovers with 4 to play. It's just one of the Everton players has been winded.
No, it's a bit of cramp, is it? It's James Garner. He has put a lot of work in that midfield. It was him who had the snapshot, and as he arrived to it, as he dragged his shot horribly wide left, pulled up with cramping. It seems like his calf, maybe his hamstring, and I think it's Idrissa Gueye who's actually administering treatment at the moment. But yet again, it's Everton who are trying to go in search of this winning goal. Jack Harrison, who's been involved in quite a lot of what Everton have done well in the second half, getting a yard on Moreno, dropping his shoulder, putting a delivery into the penalty area. Everton having 2 players attacking the first ball. It was Garner who was first to react to the bouncing ball as it came down, but the game has lacked quality in crucial moments, and that was another one.
Under 9 minutes remaining of normal time, it remains 0-0. There's been another goal at Vale Park. Tom Gale.
Port Vale 5, Bromley 0. Ryan Croasdale, the latest scorer. Umalu's low ball in. He ghosts into the 6-yard box. Side foot's home. Vale 5, Bromley 0.
In the Championship, the 2 results earlier. Leeds United going back to the top of the Championship after beating Preston North End 2-1. Plymouth 2, Sheffield United 1. Big win for bottom of the table Plymouth Argyle. Latest scores: Cardiff 0, Stoke City 0. That's a delayed kick-off, or a delayed game due to that medical incident. Luton 0, Blackburn Rovers 1. Millwall beating Middlesbrough by a goal to 0, one of their playoff rivals. Portsmouth 1, Derby County 2. What a win that could be for Derby County as they try and stay clear of the bottom 3. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Bristol City 1. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford 1. Sunderland 0, Swansea 1. And West Bromwich Albion lead Watford by 2 goals to 1. In the Premier League earlier, Manchester City 5, Crystal Palace 2. Palace were 2-0 up. Brighton Hove Albion 2, Leicester City 2. Forest 0, Everton 0 here. Southampton 0, Aston Villa 2. We've got commentary to come. Arsenal against Brentford at 5:30. After sports report that will come from Mark Chapman live from Augusta ahead of day 3 of the US Masters. Our coverage starts at Sports Extra 7:30. It'll be on 5 Live from 9. We've got 7 minutes remaining. Free kick to Everton. David Moyes in deep discussion with Gay, the midfielder, tosses the water bottle to one of the physios. Harrison and Garner stand over the free kick. Arms go aloft from Harrison, hits it left-footed, diagonal ball, dropping inside the penalty area. Tarkowski, unchallenged, heads it forward, not dealt with by Moreno the first time, then prods it away from Harrison, and it'll go out for an Everton throw.
Yeah, again, Everton first to react to things. It just, as that ball went to the far post, Tarkowski headed it back across. He headed it too high. He headed it over his 3 teammates attacking it. O'Brien, Branthwaite and Better, all inside the width of the goal frame within the 6-yard box, and he just headed it right over the top of everybody. Poor clearance means Everton have a throw.
Garner with the throw, in it comes. It's a long one. And in the penalty area, a bit of a scramble, partially cleared. Harrison heads it forward. If you'd just flown in and then landed as your first game here today, and you said, oh, this is Nottingham Forest, 3rd in the Premier League, you wouldn't believe it for what we've witnessed.
No, absolutely not. I'd say, I feel like Everton are the team that have something to play for, if you ask me. Everton at this stage aren't settling, or don't seem to have settled for a point. They're the team going in search of the opening goal in this game. It just feels like Nottingham Forest have been hanging on. I mean, there are moments during the season when things aren't going your way, they're not smooth, the systems and things that are so easy all season long just don't seem to work in a game, and it is important, as Nottingham Forest are doing at the moment, that you don't concede, you see the game through, but I'm not seeing them going in search of a goal.
Harrison scampers forward on this near side, unable to keep the ball in play, and we've got just over 5 minutes remaining. Moreno is on his knees. The referee, though, is telling him to get back to his feet, and goalless it remains. David Moyes, he turns 62 very, very soon. This is his 14th game in charge, and it will be a 7th win during that time. But he did an interview for 5 Live Sport with Julia Bold, and he was talking about the possibility of you know, why not that Everton, under his tutelage, couldn't get back into Europe in the seasons to come?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've drawn so many games. I think it's a good start that your team don't get used to getting beaten, or they get used to not losing games, because I think David Moyes knows he needs to add quality at the top end of the field during the summer. That's a priority, whether it be creative in the wide areas, right through the middle as a striker. You add that to a team that already knows how to see out results and defend, then there are places that a team can go. Look at Nottingham Forest this season.
Well, certainly built on a solid foundation, Nottingham Forest. Wood can't get hold of the ball. Gay lifts it forward. Beto tries to bring Decore in. Murillo will tidy up with his back pass to Sells. Puts his foot through it first time. Right-footed and clears away downfield. But Mikolenko beats Elanga in the air. Here is Alcaraz. If only one team's going to snatch it, it's going to be Everton. Here is Alcaraz to Beto. Beto then goes down under a challenge from Murillo. It was behind Murillo. They clear it now towards Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White, though, being hassled and harried by Gay. And the referee will give the free kick. Gibbs-White is furious with Craig Pawson. And a yellow card is going to be shown to the Everton midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguments about that. Again, for only the second time in this half, Everton left themselves exposed. They actually should have done a lot better. It was a wonderful bit of play that nearly got Beto released inside the penalty area. There was a tangle of legs. Everton wanted a penalty kick, but very quickly Nottingham Forest broke a good pass forward into the feet of Gibbs-White in behind Everton's midfield, and I think Forest had 3 players beyond Gibbs-White. Only Everton had 4 defenders back, so it was an opportunity for Forest, and Idrissa Gueye was having none of it. He literally just grabbed hold of Gibbs-White, pulled him back, made sure he could not advance any further, took the free kick 10 yards inside the Everton half, and actually was pleased that he got a yellow card as well.
Barnsley 3, Bolton Wanderers 1 is the latest score in League One. We've got about 3 minutes remaining. In your opinion, would this be points dropped for Nottingham Forest, bearing in mind they're taking on a side in the bottom half of the table?
I think the way the game's gone, I think it'll be a decent point for Nottingham Forest. I think when you're looking at the start...
Oh, hold on, they're checking the VAR for the penalty at the other end, for that Murillo and Beto incident.
I'd like to see that again. I'm not sure whether it's going to be given. I didn't think it was enough at first glance. It was definitely coming together in a tangle, and I think he got lucky, Murillo, but I'd be surprised if it was a free kick. I think when you're looking at playing the teams in the bottom half when you're at the top, you identify these as big games to get 3 points, but Everton are a different side than they were 2 months ago, and they've made it tough for Forest.
Murillo it is who drills the free kick, headed on by Milinkovic. Gay sliced his clearance, had he got full purchase on it, Alcaraz could have been away for Everton. Under 2 minutes remaining, 0-0. 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. Murillo hoists and curls this ball deep. Elanga with a layup. Milinkovic has stayed forward, and then he's overhit the ball, and it will run a play for a goal kick for Everton. As we're going to see Dwight McNeil coming on for Everton. Made that appearance against Arsenal last weekend as a substitute after missing the previous 18 games with a knee injury. So Dwight McNeil, former Burnley player, is going to come on for the last knockings here at the City Ground.
I thought Dwight McNeil might have come on when Beto come on. I thought Everton had the opportunity to make a triple substitution 65 minutes in, really freshen up the top end of the field. He didn't do it. David Moyes, whether Dwight McNeil's not quite ready, he's bringing him on now, just getting him a bit more game time, albeit hasn't given him enough, an awful lot of time to really affect the game.
And the player coming off is going to be Jack Harrison, so McNeil will come on for Harrison. Tranmere Rovers are staging a fight back. They were 3-0 down in League 2 at Accrington. Accrington Stanley 3, Tranmere Rovers 2 is now the latest score, and St Mirren lead Ross County by 3-2 in the Scottish Premiership. Sports Report coming up at 5 o'clock. A reminder that next week, the live and exclusive from Villa Park. Aston Villa against Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid against Arsenal on the Wednesday. Manchester United Lyon on the Thursday. Tomorrow, Anfield. Liverpool against West Ham at 2. Newcastle Manchester United at 4:30. Liverpool, well, depending on what happens at Arsenal Brentford, which is our next commentary at 5:30. currently require 11 points from 7 games, but Arsenal, with those 5 changes, have one eye on that trip to Madrid. Hudson-Odoi looking for Wood through the middle, cut out though by Tarkowski. Harrogate Town 2, Grimsby Town 2 is now our latest score in League 2, and we are into 5 minutes of added on time here at the City Ground as Beto spreads the ball out towards Doucouré. Doucouré runs forward, chips the ball towards the far post. Too long, too deep. Alcaraz will still get there, but he's out of the penalty area. Everton still have it. Back it goes towards Mikolenko midway through the Forest half. Doucouré in a lot of space, crying out for the ball 30 yards. Here he is now, and he's closed down by 2 red shirts. But Doucouré passes the ball to Mikolenko. First time cross. Almost reaches McNeil. Headed away by Forest. It'll go out for an Everton throw.
Yeah, again, just the lack of quality from Everton there. Going forward, Doucouré gets in behind, 3v2, 3v3 for a recovering Forest defender, but Doucouré completely overhits the cross. It landed on the far side of the 6-yard box, didn't give anyone an opportunity to go and attack anything, and chance goes away.
Doucouré, left-hand side, rolls it, Alcaraz prods it forward, Beto to Alcaraz, and he's overhit that, ballooned away off his right foot, skied it, and behind the goal away towards our right-hand side. I've just seen, actually, the reasoning about that VAR decision. They'd viewed that it was outside the area. That was why it was no penalty.
Wow, I'd certainly like to see it again then. I mean, we've got one TV that shows replays a little way from us that is hard to see. I'm going off just first viewing. I think that the contact was sufficient enough. I'd be interested to see how close that was to the edge of the penalty area or to be inside.
Barrow 2, Walsall 0. Walsall's disastrous run of form continues without a win in 10. Crawley Town 1, Leyton Orient 3. Barnsley 4, Bolton Wanderers 1 is the latest score in League 1. Hudson-Odoi. Yates leaves it for Moreno with a cross. Only partially cleared as far as Gibbs-White. Looks to try and chip the ball in towards Wood. Vital touch by Mikolenko behind for a corner. A late goal at Portsmouth, Paul Scott.
An equaliser for Portsmouth. Portsmouth 2, Derby 2. A long ball met by the head of Rob Atkinson. He scored 2 at the right end, 1 at the wrong end. It's Pompey 2, Derby 2.
Both sides still far from safe down in the Championship. So Nottingham Forest, in the 3rd minute of the minimum of 5 to be added on, have a corner kick in this goalless draw.
Oh, if they could find a goal here, turn this pretty average performance into 3 points. I can't imagine the noise you'll hear from this stadium. Not been at it today, Forest, but they've got a huge chance here.
Williams with the corner. It's an outswinger met by the head of Alcaraz, away it was for Everton, picked up by Elanga. Hardly made any impression since he's come on as a substitute. Back then to Moreno. Here now is Murillo. His touch showed too much to McNeil. Break is on. Forest are now very exposed. McNeil with a diagonal ball. It might reach Doucouré. It does reach Doucouré, and Doucouré makes Nottingham Forest pay. Everton, with an injury time winner at the City Ground, deal a body blow to Nottingham Forest and their Champions League aspirations. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1.
Well, I said if a goal was scored, there'd be a huge reaction within this stadium. Well, there is, but it's in the away end. It's Everton who, on the swing of things, you have to say have been the better team. They've been the team asking the questions. They've been the team trying to force the issue in this second half. And I said when David Moyes brought Dwight McNeil on in the 89th minute, whether I felt it was a bit harsh to ask him to go and do something in the game in such a short space of time. Well, it's him that's made the difference. He actually steals the ball off Murillo just inside the Nottingham Forest, just inside the Everton half as the corner kick was cleared. He wins the ball back, he breaks forward, he then realises he's got support. He had Alcaraz and Doucouré up ahead of him. He picks out Doucouré and he puts the ball in such a wonderful position with a wonderful weight that Doucouré only had to come onto it and actually pick his spot, and he went front post with regards to the goalkeeper. Just opened his body up as if he was going to go far post, whipped it into the front post, right in front of those Everton fans who have gone absolutely delirious.
They've played with a greater intent in the second half, and Everton are leading. Another goal at Southampton, Chris Coles.
A third for Aston Villa, scored by John McGinn, but it came from another missed Marco Asensio penalty. Another one saved by Ramsdale, this time McGinn tapping in the rebound. Southampton 0, Villa 3.
Newport County 0, Colchester United 1 is a latest score in League 2. Sports Report is on its way in about 7 minutes' time. This is BBC Radio 5 live at the City Ground. And Nottingham Forest, who before today had gone 6 hours of football without conceding at the Premier League, concede in the 94th minute here, and that could be so costly, with the teams gathering in behind them, teams such as Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester City, who earlier beat Crystal Palace by 5-2, and that long unbeaten run of 11 games in all competitions since Newcastle triumphed in November is now in jeopardy, because by my watch we have played 5.5 minutes of the minimum of 5. Everton voices are celebrating. Header away, header back in by Anderson towards Wood, volleyed down into the ground and off target by Gibbs-White, and the Forest fans are leaving.
Yeah, leaving with disappointment, because this game hasn't been the afternoon for Nottingham Forest. I mentioned sometimes this happens in Premier League football. Sometimes you're on good intent and opportunity to win football matches, things don't happen, but it's important you don't lose these games. And Real made a crucial mistake, getting caught in possession just inside the Everton half. Nobody back to help him out defensively, and Everton, who have been the better team, they've edged this game with regards to desire to go and win a football match, as have taken what's going to be a huge 3 points for Nottingham Forest really wanted.
Great noise coming from the away end. It'll get even louder when Craig Pawson blows his final whistle. A lot of empty, deserted red seats, and there it is. Everton have beaten Nottingham Forest by 1-0. What a body blow that is for Nuno Espirito Santo and his team, but a deserved win for David Moyes and his players.
Absolutely. I mean, Everton came here with the intent to try and frustrate Nottingham Forest, not leave themselves exposed on the counter-attack. I think throughout the entire game, Everton left themselves exposed on 2 occasions, and I think on both of those occasions they just gave up a yellow card, and because of that, Nottingham Forest didn't really have many opportunities. Everton's defensive shape and stubborn attitude made it very difficult for Forest. Forest was sloppy as well. They'll blame themselves when they look back at this game that they never really gave themselves an opportunity. But Everton won't care. They came here, they defended solidly. They were the team with the intent to go and win the game, despite Nottingham Forest's league position. And it's when that winner went in, I'd have to say Everton deserved it.
And that is now back-to-back defeats for Nottingham Forest. It's finished at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1.